Good evening and welcome to Porcupine Stand here on YouTube with Selbert. Well, Kumasi Asante Kotoko, probably the last pre-season friendly game were the Ashesha Swene our Cape Coast against Vision FC. Kumasi Asante Kotoko Timidi Nkunim by 2-1 against Vision FC. 2 goals scored by Albert Amwa. Say Albert Amwa didn't come bebre on this particular channel where we're talking about what Asante Kotoko fans should expect from the player of Albert Amwa. How is one player that will add a lot to the Asante Kotoko team. You're discussing bebre or platform so for some of us. He's scoring 2 goals. Don't forget the last game he scored, no. And because we believe in his potential. Well, the lineup of Asante Kotoko, there was no Frederick Asare. Benya sure said it should come as a surprise to any of you guys because Frederick Asare is joining the Black Stars. Or called Blasters camp. Which is a good news. Earlier on Namicha video where I was talking about time I'm be breaking news 11 days ago said Frederick Asare will be joining the Blasters and other people thought that Masa Jade Okano is not joining any Blasters. There was a whole lot of issues. But yes, he is joining the Blasters. Official confirmation etimi aba ewohwa. Well, we will talk about that later. I'm receiving a courage hashtag, but we'll talk about that later. And come out sanity. So Asare was not part of the team. Lineup in the tier, it was Mohamed Kamara and a Dago. Now when right back was Lord Amoa. Left back was Patrick Asiedu, na wenya Samba O'Neill, and then he was the captain of Asante Kotoko. Na wenya Joseph Ablo. So that was the back line. So clearly, the 5 players that started for Asante Kotoko today, no new players. Mohamed Kamara is a new player. Lord Amoa is a new player. Patrick Asiedu is a new player. Samba and Ablo are new players. Therefore, if you are a coach and you have load midfield with so much of new players, because if you should do that, the understanding within the team so in the middle was Andrews in team men with Michael Chejamra. Initially, me sure at time I line up nearby, there were people who were saying that these 2 players, clearly should not be starting together. People still believe Samuel Tinedu should start. But so I started actually 5. Now in Finfin, you are definitely going to play Abrante friend Emmanuel Entry. So if you are going to play Entry, now I will sign the Tinedu Aba. It means from defense to midfield, you have 6 new players. And the understanding and the bonding can also be an issue. So you should understand why the technical team will decide. So I'm bought in team menu. Na me bought change. I'm fa Emmanuel Entry. So for the first 8 players, now your new players, Marco 6, and not a woman. An attack of Babayaya, an old player. Then you get a Peter Aqua, an old player, and Albert Amwa, a new player. So the team had 8 new players. Sorry, 7 new players. 7 new players and 4 old players. I started this game for Asante Kotoko. Clearly, you should expect that Kotoko will have a lot of new players because during preseason, Asante Kotoko players bear 22 in the free team in Mokoe. It be contracted. It be the club and mutual terminate here. Mokoe. And new players about. So clearly, the chunk of it to be new players. So 7 old new players, 4 old players. Old players in Che Jamana, in Menu Baba and Peter Aqua. And for this lineup, you clearly understand why Samba and the start team as Asante Kotoko. Because maturity and then Frederick Asare captain number 1. And then Blay, another captain, were not part of the team. Therefore, there will be a need for new captains. Now, we are Kotoko team, no old players. Clearly, you get the feeling that one, Henry Ansu is somebody you can qualify him to be a captain. But Ansu did not start this game, nor bench. So between old players, Nipitaka Babayaya, Inti Menu, and Michael Chejamana, over scanning around for someone or captains or leadership abilities. And Samba coming from Burkina, which is the former club, but he was even the captain. So clearly, Obon the captain Samba now, and a big of an issue. Now let's go to the bench. Fatau said he was on the bench because Nakacho said Frederick Asare will have to join the Black Stars. Ismat Abdul Hamid on the bench from Sudan. Abdul Karim Jacob on the bench. Justice Blue on the bench. Henry Ansu. Saka Dauda. Samuel Tinedu. Fernando Wisdom. Manuel Corte. And Solomon Kwekusa. So this was players on the bench. Now, so I now shake game now. Foreigners and anomaly 2 in Kamara and Samba. But there were 3 on the bench. Meaning, at a point in the game, it is possible that all the 5 foreigners can play for Kotoko. Now, I'm sure say conversation around foreigners. You remember matching also. We are just having a lengthy conversation on Kotoko. Bear with me. I'm sure say foreigners in common. They are also for some time now because one. So what common me pa. People were asking questions. Can Kotoko use all the 5 foreigners? Per the registration, you can only register 5 foreign players. But there is room for players from West Africa. In Kotoko's case, 5 foreigners because Joseph Ablo, Ghana. Oh, no, Kachi in Bubenina. And Kreni, about Kachi Buben to a Ghana. Was stay outside, but he also a Ghana. So he was registered as a Ghanaian player. Despite Uframan on a buy. Good. Say Ghanaian player, Yakobo or South African or Baba counting because or than South African or a Ghanaian. Yeah, that is it. So that part is sorted. Now the other part of the Congo, Kamara or Free Guinea, but Guinea is West Africa. So he qualified as registration under West Africa, and therefore can play and will not be considered as a foreigner during match days. 2. Wisdom. Fernando Bass is from Nigeria, West Africa. So the proper foreigners, Samba is Smart Abdul Karim, meaning all the 5 players can play for Asante Kotoko if only the coach want to use them during match days. The 5 Kotoko, and Kotoko as a club administratively try fixing all those issues before eventually more faster players na beshim. So Asante Kotoko chitenia. Now let's come to a convo around and Kotoko Vision FC. But before we do that, let's first observation. Kotoko conceded 5 goals in 5 preseason matches. And in this case, I'm talking about preseason matches outside Adakwejaj. Yamfa Rainmasters and Kan Common. And Yamfa Ata Academy. Eson Kan Common. But these are matches played at AJ. Now let's look at other matches. Had to Folk, scoreline was 2-1. Kotoko conceded. Midiama was the second, let's say, competitive preseason friendly. And also Kotoko Lusu 2-1. Kotoko conceded 2 goals. Played goal stars for Cape Coast ended 1-0 for Kotoko. Played Hohoe last week 1-1, and this week 2-1 against Vishnevs. Meaning, 5 matches, Kotoko conceded 5 goals. But Kotoko, actually 2 against us, 2 against Vision, making it 4. 1 against Midiama, 5. In all, Kotoko has 7 goals in these 5 matches. The good thing is that Kotoko scored in all the preseason friendly they played. Matches now, Kotoko they scored a goal. Yes, they were not able to score more because over 5 now, just 7. You are around 1.3 if my mathematics is right. So what you say? So around 1.4 per game. 1.4 goal scored per game. So in drew 1.5. But goals conceded, 1 goal per game. Kotoko put 1 clean sheet that was against Gold Stars. And they considered in all, which is something the technical team will come to that. Should be thinking of how do we solve this? Because the team will need clean sheets per year during these conversations. And the league now starting up. Because you need these clean sheets to fix things. You need these clean sheets to keep on moving forward. It's another conversation for another day. Scoring 7 and conceding 5, good or bad, it will depend on how the technical team will try to fix things moving forward. In my earlier video, I was talking about Menkoma Anamedi Kakra, where I was probing deep into the Asante Kotoko preseason, behind the scenes, trying to find out what has been going on. It turns out that the technical team is impressed with the kind of results Asante Kotoko during preseason. And I remember someone very close to the system telling me, said, so share Kotoko matches on boy bra oguba first no the omuko Dubai na omenya flamboyant scoreline so much we no share ni bebre omenya that kind of scoreline, but the coach focus was on the pattern. To go Dubai na say Kotoko Dubai na 3-4 ne share na den man pa bob draw we need 2-1 b lose 1-0 b. It was narrow score lines and Kotoko di free Dubai by. But the first game against Dream Safe, because know about tougher preseason matches, I expose the weakness in his team. I'm our new coach and I go back to fixing it. And from what I'm picking, the technical team is impressed with the kind of opponent they are getting. Because these are opponents are almost stretchy or more. As the year, got about 4 Premier League teams: Hearts, Midiama, Gold Stars, and Vision FC. And 1 Division 1 team, or the away venue of the Division 1 team. So the away matches, away look tougher. Oko opponent, he stand a chance of playing better than you. And when they play better than you, you'll be exposed. To Kotkonyanya, the advantage of home grounds. Omo neutral venue. And they believe these are tougher matches that will bring the best out of them. So that is something from the preseason matches at Kotoko so far. Now let's come to today's game. Now yendi ene match no in command. Mohamed Kamara, based on what we watched, what we listened to, clearly on the game, no, yeah, my live commentary kakra for occupying stand. He's going to be a solid addition and he's going to bring a lot of competition to the goalkeeping department. That is something based on the game against Gold Stars. Any and your boy, you know, ubetimi enya gidie akasa ansem no e de afa Mohamed Kamara. It's like Kamara was that intimidating figure and a lot of experience under his belt. He's a goalkeeper or the more 2 matches were considered 1 goal enough, which was a penalty. Can we say he should be the number 1? No. Clearly, he will start. First game against Karela on the best start because Frederick Asare sent him the 2 and him no. Asare called blaster and he Kamara on the best starting. The good news is when you have competition with department, when you have players that will bring the best out of other players. So we a coach, what that no water. When you have options, what that because you need is a long season. About 34 Premier League games with the FA Cup. And once steady, Kotoko has not been doing well in the FA Cup for some time now. Now I'm Ponsa time, you know. My best of Nali Kotoko and do semi. Mekai Bako, Mariano Barreto, Obuase, and against Chelsea. Wahab Adams penalty over the bar. Then Kotoko played Kim Faisa Ogun, first coming. Baba Aya, now with Kotoko scored the only goal. Now Kim Faisa yi Kotoko free mo. And I think the last season, Zebo, Kotoko qualified Kogrum, I think quarter. And they played at Diana. Eodoma, now Kotoko lose. And last season, after the first game against Gold Stars, Huawei, Kotoko call Eye Tamale, Karela, and Kotoko lose. Meaning, recently, Kotoko have not been doing well in the FA Cup. But this season, on Castle Net in the league, you know, you try and look at how the club can perform in FA Cup matches. So that is also something relevant. It's a long season, you need competition, you need options. So based on the performance Mohamed Kamara Ebui, so imagine saying Kamara bedemu no nyadie. And I could go first game against Karela. And I Freddy Asare called Blast Stars camp. Na Kamara nujidie ni mwa. So I'm happy he's good and he can bring the best out of Freddy Asare through proper competition. And I know Subama Asare keep himself at the top. Now, Blasters were maintaining because now until time you born a lot of comments na man for put you up. Therefore, his performance in the league, you know, which we believe in him, must move hand in hand so that our comments in the baby die out in the coming days when the league starts. Then summer tests, other things he can truly fight for his position. Lord Amwa did not disappoint. Samba and Ablo, the defense did not disappoint. We won't line up now. I was concerned, Kakra, because if you are starting the league now, new. For the left side, Kotoko will start with a new player. And Kotoko will start with a new player on the left. Because Patrick Essien is smart, so if Kamara is starting and Samba is starting, means you have 3 players starting from the back. It's a blade ball. There's a full back, old one back, maybe as a cut table, old one back where they are. But I was okay. Coach later on he changes. And it was so changes, you know. Coach so by and then he break so push it because you have to push to start. And you can't push to start, but you have to justify why you should start ahead of another person. And that was okay. Well, for the middle, Manuel Entry needs no introduction when it comes to playing of Fasuyen and Nyoma when he's playing for Kotoko. I mean, you just love Entry. Everything about him. Che Jamana, clearly, TMU, Kotoko attacking line. They say Fernando Wisdom Bass right-footed. Albert Amwa right-footed. Chebafo right-footed. Abdul Karim right-footed. Peter Aqua right-footed. So why the Bebo as a left-footed winger for Kotoko? Babaya. The only option. Now, in Finfi, so what check matches now na Kotoko Bona. It looks like Babaya is being bullied in the middle. So you understand why the coach is trying to give Che Gamana an opportunity as a central midfielder so that he can partner him with Emmanuel Entry and release Babaya, especially when Elvis Chebafo and then on Katim. Saaka Dauda coming back from an injury. Abdul Karim Abdurrahman in unsettling. Wisdom Bassi Swaba Fufro. So you understand why Che was with the team last season. He's a player I believe so much in his potential. Okay, last season, Okum play about Pano Penasa was Che. Let me still give him an opportunity as central midfielder. Because I want to knock out Kope Shao Khan Abeshe. Central midfield. No, I can't entry. On bad, yeah. I remember Che. Yes, the conversation around Tinedu. let's observe, because still do so free bench by. You will have him when a free bench by. One be disappointed. But let's see how the technical team will shape up in the remaining job done. Based on what I was told, it appears that the technical team is likely to stay in Cape Coast. Then after that, Ebia, Masamba back. We will look out for that confirmation in the coming days. If there's our confirmation, to get to the bottom of it. Because on Beba now, Friday, over say to coin. Next, that's where I went to me 2 stops. So we will dig deep on that and we will give you the news now that we are truly back. Peter Aqua, no introduction. Baba, no introduction. But I bet more. Also, a lot of talks about Kotoko attack. But clearly, if there is any player or my promiser so far, Albert Amwa. From the Noyo Adakwajachi all to the oil matches, he sniffs for spaces, for opportunities where he can easily capitalize on that and put it at the back of the net. His finishing is impressive, good in the air. You're breaking it, the profile and down. And so far, so good. Nyankasa me try a target of 9 goals in a man. But if he can continue at this rate, it means he can get more than the 9. And him also say there's on in Shirasem. Someone scored against Gold Star, scored against Mediama, but now he's out of the team. But let's see what Victor Bassi should be about, because clearly this technical team transferring the way am I reasons to believe them. Bachoti, 1, Kamara, Lord Amoa, Smart, Patrick Essiedu, Ablo, Samba, Tinedu, Emmanuel Enchi, and even Albert Amoa. Say, oh, check it players, yeah. Omoa for now, Omon Sedan settle, you know. Cheba for Awuche, we know his potential. Injury na hano. But ye who on has. Boa na Awuche bo. Abdul Karim Abdul Rahman. He might personally be the only player or yet to settle 100%. So if that same team, technical team, that's a Nigerian about, we cannot say until we watch the player, because it looks like this season transfer, there's this kind of maturity and due diligence around it in terms of the kind of players nearby, still based on preseason matches. But therefore, we cannot have any form of mistrust over the technical team when it comes to air wisdom bus. We cannot. Again, player no tie in common life, there's something called self-confidence. Nipa one kasa umujidie say, deal with me. And when you listen to his interview, he's a player that believes so much in himself. Yene Akila, or a journalist from Nigeria, Chichenkomo, and Okachre said, Dia Brandt, he's a Premier League winner. What's a Premier League, Nigeria Premier League, where, according to Akila, he was a key player in that Aqua United team that won the Premier League. He went on to say, Senkenye Bibia, he is a player that at this moment should not be playing either in Nigeria or Ghana. He should, so Africa, he should be playing in either the North African teams or South Africa. That was what Akila Kafano clearly or expressing a lot about the potential of the player. Yes, based on the someone the name Kuranshe, but Wajini JC is on nation number 7. So let's just hope and wait and see how he will definitely come to the party. But so far, there are positives in the preseason, especially how the new players are playing. Tienshe, if indeed season anchor started properly, which is just next week, and then I watch Pepe. By this time, we'll be discussing the first game at Kotoko against Karela. Because no number there, na Ghana League near boy. So with 7 days, so far so good. Not so bad. Still work to be done, but not so bad. Let's see how the team will build on. But I am okay with what we are observing. Minim say Coach Ogum and the technical team minim say changes are also Asante Kotoko team no. Money into me yet to say fras heavy. This time there have been more room, or they had a long time to get their players. Okay, last season, even as at say Kodokoye pre-season, majority of the players late. Majority late. But this time around, before Kotoko then now one player, which is with top pass. Majority of the players now early. The preseason plan looks spot on. Kotoko played more competitive game this time around than last. Last year, Kotoko bo Asekem, Park Academy, Future Stars. Match back one GD no cornerstones. Yes, cornerstones. The GD was Kotoko bo in Swatremai. But this season, check preseason matches. Wabo has, Wabo Midiama, Wabo Gold Stars, Wabo Vision FC, Wabo Hohoi. Until last season, Kotoko played more Division 1 matches than Premier League matches during preseason. This time around, they've played more Premier League teams than Division 1 teams. Even their away venues of these clubs, a neutral venue, which is better. Mekai time at Kotoko Boys were Trema Okumase, Premier League team. We're all going home saying that the Kotoko team need time. Because that was the first major real test as Asante Kotoko. Because Obo Park, Obo Asekem, na Obo Corners, na Obo Future Stars. Na ni nyine bie ni wa ne duru maso kono du nso atreman team no. To Kotoko Boys so atreman yes asem wo ho. But when what back is here, this year preseason, this year's recruitment, there is some element of encouragement than last season. And the technical team head in Mpefe said he cannot start slow this season. He cannot. And let's wish the team all the best. But so far, so good. Next week, by this time, the true colors will be out. And we are hoping that Kotoko will come out with flying colors. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.